Hello and welcome to Farm Journal Live. I'm editor Clinton Griffiths from our studios in northern Indiana, bringing you the latest updates on what's happening in the agricultural industry and the coronavirus outbreak. Let's get straight to some headlines this morning. The latest shock to the industry, the wholesale beef price on Thursday hit a record $373.85. That's actually what it was Friday morning, $373.85. But for cattle and hog producers, they're scrambling to find places to process those livestock. Financial losses already significant. The drop in slaughter meaning packer demand much lower now. According to the latest Sterling beef profit tracker from our friends over at Drovers, feeders lost $260 per head this last week. In March, cattle producers were seeing a $24 per head profit. Some plants starting to come back online. Cargill announcing it will reopen its High River, Alberta beef plant on Monday after a 2-week shutdown. And a JBS plant in Worthington, Minnesota has now begun euthanizing hogs as previously planned to help pork producers running out of space. Originally, they estimated about 13,000 hogs a day. That estimate now lowered to about 3,000. Hogs obviously not going to be turned into meat. The carcasses rendered and sent to landfills or buried. And we're following another developing situation regarding China. Reuters reporting that Chinese importers purchased at least 5 cargoes or 300,000 metric tons of U.S. soybeans to be shipped in August or September. It comes as U.S. officials say China is sticking to that commitments in the Phase 1 trade deal despite this coronavirus pandemic. A senior U.S. trade official saying that China is still very, very committed to the deal. Soybean prices, they jumped double digits on Thursday. Today, trading lower, 3 to 5 cents here at midday. Of course, plenty of work down where it's dry enough to get across the country, even as 1 in 6 people say they're unsure they'll be comfortable enough to go out in public again. The survey commissioned by Vital VO asked 1,000 U.S. adults how they envision everyday life in the wake of the coronavirus. Now, according to the research, 40% of Americans plan to avoid public spaces unless absolutely necessary long after the coronavirus pandemic has subsided. We've got a couple guests with us today that have been working in the ag industry, trying to do what they can to kind of keep in contact with the folks that are working on our farms. We've got Craig Rule with Growmark of Bloomington, Illinois, and Shane Myers and Kyle Allen. They're with Gateway Precision Ag in Missouri. Hey, thank you all for being here. And Shane and Kyle, let's start with you. What has this season been like? Has it been different than previous years as far as working with folks out in the field?
So I would say this year, with the majority of growers and farmers, it's just a lot more steps to take to be cautious, especially with COVID-19. We're just taking our time. And I know guys, when we take them their seed or we're working on a tractor, especially with the monitor, we're just taking some precautionary. It's one thing that I would say that a lot of guys are very good with us about is they want to know how long we're going to be there. If it's something that we're going to be around their family, if it's their employees. So we're taking special precautions and doing our best to be accommodating to them.
Yeah, and go ahead.
It's a lot of unloading seed by ourselves as well. But usually they like to help us out, but we're doing a lot of lifting and putting away planters and stuff ourselves now. So
has it been hard to coordinate plans with everybody?
It's been a little bit of a challenge. For the first time, a story pops in my mind. There was an older gentleman, he's probably in his 70s, who I've always taken corn to. Every year he helps me unload. This year he actually watched me through his window at his house because his wife just did not feel comfortable having him around other people. So it was different. The thing that, I've been in the seed business for 10 years. You have the chance to work with these guys. They're taking precautions, and it's not just them, it's their family members that want them to be safe. So we're doing the best we can to be accommodating and trying to keep a positive outlook on it.
We're trying to be safe ourselves too, a lot of hand sanitizer everywhere we go.
That's right. Well, let's bring in Craig Rule with Growmark in Bloomington, Illinois. Craig, what has been your experience this spring as you trying to help folks get planning underway and get really going in earnest here?
Well, normally I work in our corporate office in Bloomington, and I think the most surreal moment of realization we had was on our busiest day in April. There was virtually nobody in the office, and so we challenged an old stereotype that everybody had to be there and together to get things done. And I think we proved as a system that it can be done differently. So we were proud of the hard work of our teams.
Yeah. What kind of questions are you getting from producers or the folks out in the field whenever they're trying to coordinate with everybody? What do people want to know from you?
Well, I think there's so they can remain safe, we can remain safe, and we can keep getting the work done. So.
Do you think this will change the way that you do things in the future? Is this kind of a new norm, do you think?
Absolutely. I don't know that we want to stay as distant as we are. I mean, you hear some longingness for, the community that the ag industry is known for. But I think, like I said, we have broken some mental walls down, or mental barriers down, about what has to be done to get the work done. I think we proved we can do it in a variety of ways. So.
Yeah, Shane and Kyle, what has been your experience? Do you think that this is going to be kind of a new norm going forward, or are we just being cautious right now?
The thing that I would say as we go forward is how are we going to be as accommodating, doing things different? Because, like we said just a minute ago, this is such a personal business, and when we show up at a farm, it's just been different with it's just us, and you're so used to seeing the growers. The thing that I continue to try to wrap my mind around is it going to stay the same in the fall? We spend a lot of our harvest time in combine cabs, and there might be a time as a salesman, they may not want us salesmen in the cab, which is hard for us, but we want to see our products, we want to see the technologies that they're using. Is it going to be that way in 6 months? I mean, I hope not, but it's going to be something that we're going to have to change the way we operate too.
It's very tough going to the grower and not be able to shake his hand. I mean, that's first thing you always do when you go up to the grower, shake his hand, see him, tell him how you are and everything. So that's another change too we got to look at.
I mean, it is a relationship business. Craig, do you think that we're going to see more push online, more digital transactions here through the business?
I think so, but to these guys' point, I mean, it's still a very personal business, right? And people, these are high stakes, high dollar decisions that these growers are making on a day-to-day basis, and they want the assurance of their trusted partners to help make those. So I think you're always going to have a personal touch in there somewhere.
Well, it is always a relationship-driven business. I want to appreciate and tell you guys thank you for taking a little bit of time here. Real quick before we go, how far along are you? Kyle, Shane, what do you guys think? How's Missouri doing?
So I would say for our area, we're maybe 25%. For the first time ever, you look back last year, we've had quite a bit of soybeans go in the same time as corn. There's a lot of data showing, especially coming out industry-wide, earlier planted beans is showing high returns. So our guys that have 2 planters, they're taking advantage of that. We're trying to do our best to make sure that we're easing into this as good as we can. Now, on the flip side, our area last year was heavily impacted by flooding. So guys are looking at last year saying, I've got to get it in. I have to get my crop in, especially when you go into the St. Charles bottoms. You go down into the Ellsbury bottoms. Those guys are putting crops in as fast and quickly.
Yeah. And Craig, what about for your part of Illinois there, right there in the middle of the state?
I would say, in parts of Illinois, you've probably got 50% in, and in the northern extremes, it may be lower, 25. But we've gotten a lot of work done.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate the insights. The latest USDA report said Missouri, 25% of the corn crop was planted. The big increase from last week, the week prior is 11%. Ag Day National reporter Betsy Gibbon, she tells us how planting is going this year, as the gentleman mentioned, especially in those areas that experienced extreme flooding last year. Here's Betsy.
Another spring and another chance for Northwest Missouri farmers to have a better year.
The surface of the ground is working well because it's been so dry for us, and the rains we have been receiving have been ½ inch or less.
A major change for Rockport, Missouri farmer Ryan Meyercourt, who planted 35% of his corn acres last week.
The ground's working like it hasn't for several years, so we've been able to really get after it and get a lot planted here in the last week.
Missouri has planted 25% of corn acres according to USDA's latest crop progress report. That's just about half of the 5-year average, but Meyercourt will take it compared to prevent plant and flooding issues of last year.
Right now we have a window that we're very optimistic on the conditions we've planted into so far. Obviously we have a lot left to plant, so if we turn off wet here in May, we can still have a lot of issues because we still have a lot of internal issues with drainage and things with this bottom with the flooding.
Despite an improved outlook, flooding remains an issue. This was the view in March.
Just this levee system here, there was 8 major breaches.
And some problems still linger today.
The levees still aren't fixed, and they haven't done anything to them to get fixed. Luckily, the water went down and has stayed down, and it hasn't been a super wet spring.
Just south, Michael Graves in Corning, Missouri, is done planting his corn acres. He planted this field in early April and says the emergence has been slow but even.
The stand count's really good.
Not bad for a field covered in water last year, where sand and silt may have actually helped this season.
For whatever reason, the flood caused this dirt to break down, and we were able to get it field cultivated up and planted just perfect, and everybody on the bottom has kind of said the same thing.
While the challenges of last year are still prevalent,
Everything above this shed was flooded, and there was about 12 feet of water through here.
farmers hope for a better year as a new season brings new possibilities. Reporting for Ag Day, I'm Betsy Gibbon.
All right, thanks Betsy, and thanks to you for spending a few moments of your time with us today on Farm Journal Live. I'm Clinton Griffiths. Of course, we'll continue to bring you the latest coverage. You can find that at agweb.com/coronavirus. We'll be bringing you coverage and updating our coverage throughout the weekend, so make sure that you join us there for the very latest. From all of us with Farm Journal, I'm Clinton Griffiths. Have a great day.
This season, rather than madness, opening days, or taking a break, the world is frozen, silenced by quarantines, isolated by distance, and edging on panic. But while work for you may have changed, out here, we're still going strong. Our season is underway. The crops will get planted, the livestock will be fed, and your food will continue to be grown, just like it's been for generations. There's plenty to worry about. But out here, social distancing is our specialty. American agriculture farms on, today and tomorrow, for our family and yours.